Hey y'all. So this video is going to be one kind of like pregnancy related. It's going to be mostly about my experience as a plus size woman and my pregnancies that I had. So let's go ahead and get started. Um First, let me just go ahead and knock the rumor that just because you're plus size does not make it any harder to get pregnant, and it doesn't mean that your pregnancy is going to be terrible. I've definitely heard that as like a rumor, and I'm like, no, sweetheart, not at all. So, yeah, getting that out the way, I have some notes that I wrote with like topics I wanted to cover. I honestly can say that I did not have bad pregnancies. I was actually really lucky compared to some people that I have heard and people that I know personally. They have all been smaller than me and they have all had nightmare pregnancies. I'm like, whew, I got the easy ride. But one of them is that I was really lucky. My doctors for both of my pregnancies, they didn't judge me for being plus size or overweight or fat, whatever you want to call it. Um, I was such BS. Like, they didn't even bring it up. They didn't bring up that I had like special things that I needed to do or special things I needed to look out. They just treated me like I was a regular patient, like I was anybody else. I didn't get weird looks or anything like that when I went to my doctor's appointment from any of the staff or my doctor or any of the patients either. I never had to encounter anything like that. So that was really awesome that I wasn't judged based upon it. Um, I just say the whole gestational diabetes thing. They say that, like, in general, for your health, like, if you're overweight, you're more likely to have diabetes. Um, and then, of course, when you're pregnant, gestational diabetes, if you're overweight, it's supposedly higher. But my doctors didn't really mention anything about it. We just did the normal tests and everything. Their only concern about me getting gestational diabetes was the fact that my mom had it. Um, she had it for every one of her pregnancies, and then after she had me, she actually kept her diabetes. So yeah, that's the only reason why they were concerned for me and why I was at a higher risk of contracting it than somebody who didn't have that family history or someone who was a smaller size than me. Um, okay, one thing that sucked was with my first pregnancy with Devin, I didn't really have an issue finding maternity clothes or using other clothes for my growing belly. But when I had the twins, clothing was a struggle. I had to find pants that were either gonna expand with my belly or go under it or whatever. But that was kind of a challenge. And also finding shirts. I had to buy them like 2 or 3 sizes bigger than what I normally wore. But then I also had to make sure that it wasn't exposing like too much. Like my boobs weren't hanging out and this and that. So when I was pregnant with the twins, because I was already plus size and then growing huge with them, that was a little bit of a struggle. Like, honestly, I made it and I was able to do it with regular clothing. I didn't go out and buy new maternity wear. But yeah, that was it was a little hard. I can totally say that. Um, for my babies, I and myself, of course, I was on a healthy diet during my pregnancy most of the time. Because of course it's just healthier for me and it was healthier for them and their development and their growing. But boo, don't think I didn't go ahead and give myself whatever cravings I wanted. If I wanted to have ice cream, I had ice cream. My husband would go out and get me McDonald's at like 2 in the morning on a regular basis because that's what I wanted. So I always wanted like McDonald's fries, a McDouble, and hot and spicy. Those were like my 2 a.m., like what I want in the middle of the night cravings. So luckily, we live close to a 24-hour McDonald's. But yeah, my doctor didn't tell me that I couldn't eat certain foods. I wasn't on like a restrictive diet or anything. So that was nice. Like, I just got to be regular, like, I guess as a standard sized person with like my eating habits and everything during my pregnancy. I actually did really well compared to some people that I've met, like even friends and people I know personally, that they had issues with their diet during pregnancy. Like they couldn't eat this, they couldn't eat that, they only wanted to eat these things. They gained a whole bunch of weight because all they wanted to do was ever eat like a double bacon cheeseburger from Rallies or something like that. So I never really had any of those issues. I actually ate pretty healthily most of the time, but I did give myself whatever craving or whatever food I wanted. Um, let's see. My epidural, apparently, I've heard like some random places that plus size people had a harder time getting an epidural. I'd never had that experience. I had one with both of my pregnancies, and it was super easy. Like, my anesthesiologist never had issues for either one of them. Like, everything went routine, it was easy. So, I don't know what's going on with that or why that's like a thing. Um, let's see. As far as like pregnancy symptoms, none of mine were worse because of my weight. Um, I admit some of them were different, but that's because pregnancy, your symptoms vary. Like, they're not all the same for every pregnancy, just like every child is different. So, like with the twins, I had pregnancy sciatica, but that was because I was carrying two babies. And let's see. I think my last point. One thing that I do have to say about the epidural, though, with the first pregnancy rather than my second, is with Devin, I have what they call a hot spot, which means there was this one place that the medicine didn't take effect, but they told me that that wasn't anything to do with my weight itself. It was like my body's reaction, so they had to give me a secondary medicine for that. But yeah, as far as like being plus size and pregnant, like I was never worried about my weight gain. I was never, let's see, yeah, I had normal weight gain, which was approximately like 20 to 30 pounds, and that was even with my twins. I didn't gain a whole bunch of weight. I was mostly just baby belly. And yeah, like my doctors encouraged it because it was healthy for me, it was healthy for Devin, it was healthy for the boys. Like, we really didn't have any health concerns or health issues because of my weight. Like, even with me gaining weight, that's what I was saying. I looked and I wrote it down. For both my pregnancies, with Devin, I gained maybe 20 pounds, and with the boys, I gained about 30. And honestly, no matter what your size is, whether you're standard size, whether you're plus size, gaining 20 to 30 pounds during pregnancy is completely normal from your pre-baby size. So I don't see. My husband just texted me. Sorry. So yeah, I don't see their whole like issue about being pregnant and plus sizes. Everything was routine, everything was normal. And if you are plus size, don't believe like all the rumors and stuff around that. You can have a perfectly healthy pregnancy with nothing being wrong with you as a person who is of standard size. Just because you have more weight or because you're different than someone else does not mean that you're automatically going to have a rougher time or things are going to be more difficult for you. So don't let that be a deterrent of you having babies. If you want to have babies, um, honestly, I adored pregnancy. I'm one of those people that I loved being pregnant, and it was awesome. It was a beautiful experience, and I love being a mom. So if you want to go ahead and do that with your life, go right on ahead. I encourage you. Like, it's amazing, and it's something that you will never understand until you go through it yourself. And I don't know, it's like one of those things that you can never get until you go through it, until you become one yourself. So, yeah, I hope that that was helpful and informative and kind of told you a little bit of my story. Of course, I'm always like open for questions and stuff.